Since the dawn of time, man has speculated about the truth of the universe. Where do we come from? Why are we here? Which is better, cake or pie? At Balticon 44, Sir John Cmar and Professor Jared Axelrod revealed that truth. And now, through the power of interweb, they bring the truth about the universe to you.
Presented by Sir John Cmar.
And Professor Jared Axelrod.
And Reverend Arioch Morningstar.
Yes. Because we know the truth of your name, and it's not Arioch.
That is the truth. As it says, we are not knight or professor or reverend, but you instead must deal.
Yes. We would like to point out as well that the slides have been arranged by both Laura Burns and J.R. Blackwell, and that there is a disclaimer at the bottom, but it is not true.
So here we have Dr. John Cmar. Don't put that in your mouth. What is that, sir?
Well, that is actually Gerodococcus axelrodii, which is perhaps one of the new emerging infectious diseases. And those are surrounding the pill-shaped red blood cells in Arioch Morningstar's blood.
So, in the beginning of the universe...
This is clearly your wheelhouse.
Yeah. Everything went, whoa! And just boom, it just all just exploded, as anyone who's been to a new media party understands.
Exactly, and this is truly the visual representation of whoa. See, on cue. Now this is the start button. Now the thing that's fascinating here, and this proves that if there is a creator, time doesn't matter to him, because the Big Bang happened, and then he created the start button.
The start button actually does not say start in English. It says it in French, but we thought for this audience we would change that for it to be start. So, yes.
Precisely.
And here we have the end. We're skipping to the end. Again, time does not matter, because right after the beginning, there is the end. It's sort of freaky like, that way.
Yes, it is freaky because, you know, when God created the universe, he started writing it, then said, I want to go back to the beginning. And then he's the type of person who jumps to the end of the novel. So then he just went ahead and got this out of the way multiple times from multiple camera angles, apparently. Now, the nice thing about this is that God, in fact, does have a sense of humor, and he is, in fact, a cat person.
This is a huge theological argument, but history has proven out that God loves cats.
Right, right. Hence the...
the crazy cat lady in the sky theory.
Exactly. Well, you know, Jesus loved the dinosaurs, and he did, in fact, have a personal pterodactyl about which he flitted about. The sermon on the pterodactyl was sort of edited for the Bible.
See... The Bible is the second coming. The first coming happened in the late Cretaceous.
That is true. That is true. Until this man came on the scene.
General Aguilar. He was the one who actually nailed Cretaceous Jesus to the cross, was this guy. He was a time traveler and who did not like that Jesus was hanging around with dinosaurs. So he went ahead and moved that crucifixion up 3 whole weeks because the dinosaurs were still figuring it out. This is his time machine.
Yes, that is true. You will notice that at this point he had to place Jesus into multiple containers upon which... And this actually used to be Cerberus, except Cerberus, in order to get it to work for the time machine, was split into 3 separate dogs of different breeds, which is fascinating.
Well, that's the only way to split him.
That's true. You can't just divide it evenly down genetic lines. Then we come to perhaps the most pivotal figure post-Cretaceous crucifixion, Mr. Pegleg himself.
This is Gouverneur Morris, and I'm actually going to give you a true fact here. This is the guy who came up with We the People in the Constitution. This is this man. Also, he wrote the Bible.
Yes.
Which is why they hired him to do We the People.
That's exactly right. And these are George Washington's teeth, which is actually what he used to write the Bible with.
He just typed on those teeth. It was amazing and fascinating. You could actually see in the first presidency George Washington taking notes just by doing this over and over again. There's paintings of this.
For the scientists in the audience, you'll notice that there are 2 different tensions on the springs, which then clearly leads us to the next most pivotal figure in history.
Nazi Spock.
Nazi Spock.
Nazi Spock, of course, invented those teeth.
And you'll notice that he is actually from our universe, not the mirror universe, though he is a Nazi.
That takes some explaining, which I'll leave to Mr. Morningstar. Oh,
But
too
Mr.
late.
Morningstar is saved because faith-based WTF is up next. You have to understand that Jesus has been reincarnated approximately 27 times in the course of history.
Most of them as cats.
And this is actually the 5th feline reincarnation of Jesus. The interesting thing about this, too, is that because of his love of the dinosaurs, he then ahead and went and showed that he could make dinosaur-like poop whenever he needed to on the ground.
That was the big thing, was turning sand into poop.
Right.
That's him reincarnated as worms.
Yes.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh.
Well, there you go. Jesus worms.
But these are Jesus worms covered in the holy dinosaur poop of Antioch.
Now, you may be asking, where does the flying spaghetti monster fit into it? Well,
Obvious question.
clearly, the flying spaghetti monster created Adam. This was the original Leonardo da Vinci, before he was forced to paint over it with, by Nazi Spock, with a man in a beard. Nazi Spock, little do people know, loves men in beards.
That's right. And obviously, untrue Steve Ely, creator of Escape Pod, here we have fading in the invisible pink unicorn. Right.
Does he have his kidney?
That's right. No, this is not named Charlie. But this does actually have Steve Ely's kidney, which is why he had to actually quit Escape Pod. True story.
True story.
Moving onward.
Teshuga here, this is actually another reincarnation of Jesus. This was a bad day.
Yes. But this
not
is
a good
actually
time.
This was well, it's interesting too, but this what Teshuga is holding is actually Jesus's previous reincarnation. So hence eat my body. This really is.
The metaphor was a little lost. But then...
This was sort of like the universal comma. Once Nazi Spock his machinations had come to pass, history needed to pause and take its breath for what's coming next.
Just collectively go...
That's exactly right. I think all of you need to do that again. Wait, because this is what it is.
Science came along!
So this is actually the...
This is the end of Jesus' reign and Nazi Spock's reign, and we bring the science kitten comes into power.
Yes. This was actually the 28th reincarnation of Jesus. You'll notice I said 27 before. This is sort of like what we're going to deal with when Doctor Who finally reaches 14 actors.
Now, the 28th was a science gangster who enjoyed coffee.
Exactly.
And his own line of mugs.
Yes. And he made his coffee with a device that percolated and shot forth pew, pew, pew rays, as depicted on this very mug. I like the biohazard on the ammunition.
Right. Well, as all coffee is a biohazard. It is radioactive. As you can see by this diagram of a coffee molecule. Now,
Exactly.
I want to draw your attention to the purple parts, because those are actually the blood of Christ.
That is exactly right. Now, interestingly enough, you'll notice that the coffee molecule has been created, perhaps even intelligently designed, to look like the human circulatory system, hence the blood. But
As we know from penguins, that is not the case.
Exactly. This is not, in fact, what the penguins have taught us. Here we have the 35th, 36th, 37th, and 38th reincarnations of Jesus. Again... No.
This is right before they fought Omega, if I remember correctly.
So this is that Jesus was being crucified again as a penguin by his fellow penguins.
Now, here we have the international personal access door for all your personal access needs.
Exactly.
This is actually on the moon. We found this out in the 60s and went through the personal access door only to find that behind it lay Scranton, New Jersey.
Exactly.
Who knew?
But, if you take a closer look at the door, you will see that its underpinnings actually have nothing to do with the future, but perhaps a little bit more of the fantastic past.
Well, and it's recent discovery. I don't know if you saw this. It was on the internet today.
It's possible.
Leonardo da Vinci actually built that door on the moon back when his early space explorations. So this is the earliest clockwork technology that he's done.
Exactly. So what makes this work? Math. You may think that math is a dry subject, devoid of sexual appeal and romantic tension, but you would be wrong.
As Lord of the Hissy Fit, who is the third Earl of, what is it?
Chattanooga.
Chattanooga. Thank you. I can never understood that.
I know. Anyway, Pierre Beaumarchais, who is also from Chattanooga, once said, "It is not necessary to understand things in order to argue
I
about them."
disagree with that.
You know, I saw that coming.
I don't understand it, and
I saw that
don't
coming.
agree.
Well, the thing is, I disagree with your disagreement because the grounds of your disagreement are actually based in this. Would you kindly tell me how this relates to your disagreement, sir?
Well, all right. See, if you look at the tendrils here,
Yes, I see
this is clearly something that is organic in form, correct?
True.
And yet, built by a robot.
I see your point.
With math, might I add. We're bringing it back. This was
Robotic
built by a
math.
robot with math. This is the robot in question.
Exactly. Oddly, it's a French robot. I don't understand this.
Well, this comes back to the start button being French. All robots are French.
You are exactly right.
Most people don't know that because they have all the voice chips. But
Right.
they're
And this robot's
programming-
voice chip, left armpit.
As you can see clearly.
Yes, very much so. But here's the issue.
All right, here's plus and for math. Do you want to take plus or against or for?
I will take against.
All right.
Down with math!
That is not an argument.
Math is dumb. I don't like the way it makes me feel.
Math is not dumb. You are dumb.
But math scares me.
What the fuck is there to be afraid of? It's just numbers. And it
Fine,
goes on and on from there.
Jesus' 89th incarnation, yet
Again,
again
a
as a
kitten.
cat, had to come and interrupt the discussion he did not like. Because at this point, Jesus said, I need to get into business.
And then he said, "Can I get a what?"
Very nice. Because Jesus does never ask for the help.
No, he just asked for what's and what's.
What's and what's.
So, when you're going about your business, you need to take your output, your collaboration, your innovation, and there to lead to...
Well, see, really, the thing that's above the arrow is actually the rectum. So when this stuff is exuded
You just
through...
shove it right up your ass.
Exactly. And business is actually a cow. But separately,
Behold.
corn, which oddly enough has something to do with bullshit. If you dig enough, you can find corn. And if you assemble the kernels, behold, gentlemen.
There's your business right there.
That's right.
After you do your business, you have your business.
Yes, and you do not want this inserted back where your output came from.
Certainly not. So here we have the 55th incarnation of
I was
Jesus.
waiting for this one.
This was back when he was a Vegas crime lord.
He's looking for Judas, isn't he?
He is. He's had
He is.
enough. Because little do you know that Judas killed Jesus every single time, even the Cretaceous time when he was a velociraptor.
That is exactly right. But I will point out, I was going to say that Jesus had a black army, but that's actually not true.
He clearly had a white army.
Jesus was actually the captain of the White Lanterns. Look at them all.
With their white power.
With their white power and their white skin.
And, the,
White rings.
and their white power rings raised up and high and proud.
Shooting white stuff.
It's all very white. Like this
But-
panda.
Exactly. Who is actually ashamed by the subtle racial undertones of the last piece. Pining for tea, but not tea in bags.
No, pandas don't drink tea in bags.
No, it's not possible.
Well known.
There was actually an incident at a Chinese zoo where they tried to feed the panda tea in bags.
And then he wouldn't mate for like 40 years.
No, and then that's when he hired the Keebler elf to slay all the zookeepers in China.
Now,
Where do you think they get the Keebler bit candies from?
Yeah.
Chinese flesh covered in sweet, sweet chocolate.
which brings up the question: class act